Hey everybody, good morning. Randy Wells here, Steve Lynch from Procure. We're aboard the Rogue out of Seward, Alaska. We're getting ready to head out to a quick little half-day rock fishing trip while Steve's in town. Steve, thanks for coming.
Hey, you bet. I tell you what, Seward's a beautiful place. Every time I come, I try to make sure I fish a day with you. You know, the water's always got a lot to offer. You know, there's lots of good rockfish. You know, lots of sea life. I see whales every time, so I hope today will be no different.
Oh, I'm sure it won't be. Steve's been coming up with me since I started chartering out of here in 2007, and fishing for rockfish is one of his favorite things to do. Of course, we've done everything else, but he's got time to do rockfish, so we're gonna do a few different techniques out there today. I'm gonna kind of go over the importance of your tide and the importance of how to mark your rockfish and how to target them. And Steve's gonna show us the importance of hooking fish and releasing some fish, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a banner day. So stay tuned and check it out.
Oh, there he is.
Get him! Oh! Catching some rockfish and teaching Sarah how to drop this rig down. So Sarah, to drop this down, this is taking it out of gear, puts it in neutral. Keep your thumb on it. Look at him boiling right there. He's gonna hit it before he even let it down. So just gonna get it down there 30 feet or so, put it back into gear. What we don't want is slacken the line to go like that, you know. Okay. Bring it up. I actually got a fish on there. I didn't want to, but and then make sure that line's tight going down. So bring it up, keep that line tight, because that's when you're gonna if he hits that slack line, you can't feel that fish. So just like that.
Wait. So sit down here. I'm going to try to stang you one. They're holding on to the rubber right now. Yeah. Probably need a new rubber.
Take the rubber off again. There's another nice fish. That's a keeper.
That one there is too small. We're going to put him back. Because here in Seward, they're much bigger.
When the bite is light, a good way to kind of get these things to entice is to drop a scent bomb down. That's going to bring your rockfish up a little higher in the water column, and that's going to get them on the bite for you. So what I've got here is a good pile of herring chum like this in a plastic bag, okay? Got the Procure water soluble. Now because I have a charter boat, I'm using this in the gallon size. They make this in the 2 ounce and the 8 ounce sizes. So shake it up pretty good. And then I'll take a halibut jig, I'll put it inside the bag. Definitely tie the bag a couple times so you don't leave any trash in the water. Then I'll take my knife, got some holes in it like so. I'm going to drop this down about 30 feet, and then I'm going to jig the rod. And that jig, what it's going to do is it's going to rip this plastic bag and it's going to spread this herring chum out. So it's, number one, going to put a bunch of scent in the water. It's going to put some chum in the water, and it's going to bring them up from the deeper water.
Get a feeding frenzy going.
get a feeding frenzy going, exactly. Put my rod in gear. If you put enough holes in that bag, it should break right away. This also works extremely well for halibut fishing. As you can see, the bag broke, but because I tied it to my jig, I was able to get the trash back. And now we'll send our gear down about 30 feet and start twitching some jigs, and we'll definitely have some fish on. Stay tuned.
Lunker Junkies is brought to you by Bi-Mart, your one stop for the best deals around on top quality gear. Pro-Cure Bait Sense, ruthlessly effective. If you want your rod bent, you gotta apply the scent. Shasta Tackle, inventor of the sling blade, luring you to the best of fishing. Reel Tech, don't throw those broken reels aside, send them to the Reel Tech. And Brad's Killer Fishing Gear, so enticing, fish cannot resist them. If you would like to experience an action-packed Alaska adventure out of Seward, book Captain Randy Wells of Fish Seward, Alaska for an adventure not soon forgotten. Visit him online at fishsewardalaska.com or give him a call, 907-947-3349. And be sure to call Alaska Shuttle Service for all your transportation needs during your visit. For more info, go to alaskashuttleservice.com or give Jen a call at 907-947-3349. Hey folks, when you're getting ready for your season, don't forget to swing in here to your local Bi-Mart. Our friends here at Bi-Mart have been busy. They've swapped out a bunch of products. They got a bunch of new products in. New line of Shasta tackle stuff, sling blades, wiggle hoochies, all that stuff for you trout and kokanee fishermen. They got some new beads, some new spinners, some new terminal tackle. A lot of new products to check out. As well as they still have the full line of Brad stuff, the Pro-Cure Bait Sense, all that stuff you see us use on the Lunker Junkies Fishing Show to get us into more and bigger fish. They also have a new line of Cascade Outdoors. It's Bi-Mart's own brand that's specially designed with the rugged Northwest in mind. So 5-6 pound sleeping bags, a little heavier duty stuff, a little warmer. Sleeping bags, tents, chairs, tables, all built a little more rugged for the Northwest. And all at the same low prices you've come to expect from Bi-Mart. So be sure to swing in and check that out. Don't forget, every Lunker Junkies adventure starts right here at Bi-Mart. Let's catch back up with our buddies Randy Wells and Steve Lynch of Pro-Cure out of Seward, Alaska, doing some rock fishing.
Hey folks, Randy Wells here at Lunker Junkies TV. I hope you're enjoying this week's episode. For our tips and hint this week, I'm going to give you my favorite rockfish recipe. As a charter boat skipper out of Seward, Alaska, I oftentimes hear people say rockfish or sea bass isn't that good after it's been frozen. And I'd like to beg to differ. And in fact, with this recipe right here today, I think you can wow most of your friends at home. But not only that, you're going to really enjoy rock fishing after this because you're going to love eating this. Got some very simple ingredients here. Got 6 cans of ginger ale, a little bit of olive oil, some lemon and a squeezed lemon. You can use fresh lemon if you'd like. Some sea salt, non-iodized salt. And I've got some cubes of butter here that I've already cut. I like to use a pure butter, no margarine whatsoever. And then I've got some rockfish fillets. First thing I'm going to do is add my ginger ale to a pot and bring it to a boil. Now you're thinking, well, what else is he going to put in there? Just ginger ale? Yeah, that's right. No water, nothing else. Some ginger ale, some butter, some olive oil, and some sea salt. This is one of my favorite recipes for fish. And you can use this recipe with any white fish whatsoever. The reason why it's one of my favorites is because of how easy it is, but plus because I'm a huge crab and lobster, shrimp fan. And with this particular recipe, I'm going to make this rockfish taste as close to crab or lobster that you've ever had. So I've got 4 cans in here now. I know I said 6, but this pot's a little bit small. But I got 4 cans of ginger ale. Put them on the pot, get them boiling. Now I'm going to add some sea salt. Got my tablespoon here and some sea salt. There's no exact measurement. Me personally, I like to use 2 tablespoons. A little bit of olive oil. That's going to help your pot not to boil over. Doesn't take much. Notice I've got 3 trays of butter here. 2 of them are going to be for dipping. 1 of them I'm going to put in the pot of boiling water. Or sorry, in the pot of boiling ginger ale. Like so. While that's coming to a boil, I've got my sharp knife here. I've already filleted this rockfish. It's been completely deboned and it's ready to go. So I'm going to cut it into chunks about like so. And you want to skin it, okay? Okay, so as you can tell, my ginger ale is coming to a full boil. I'm going to take my fish and put it in here. It only takes a couple minutes at best for this to be done. How do you know it's done? Well, as soon as it's done, the rockfish is going to float to the surface, just like you were cooking crab or shrimp or anything else. I like to make sure that ginger ale comes back to a boil. Once that comes back to a boil, you can bet that that fish is going to be completely done. Next thing I'm going to do is step over to the microwave. These little dishes with the butter in them, I'm going to throw them in the microwave, make sure that they're melted and ready to serve with our fish, so that we're all ready to eat here in just a couple minutes. Well, my butter is melted, my ginger ale and fish is boiling, so that means it's time to drain this fish and serve it. So we'll see you at the dinner table here in just a couple minutes. So the last step, remember, we boiled this in the ginger ale. I just strained it and put it in here. I've got my melted butter. Just going to add a little. Kind of spread it around, and we've got a dish here for dipping, so if we want to add some more, you can. And I'm just going to squirt a little lemon on here.
Looks good, huh?
Oh man. Okay. We'll take one little taste test here with Jennifer and Rocky. And then we're going to have ourselves some of Randy's Poor Man Lobster and wine while you guys finish up this episode.
Here goes. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Judging by the look of the face, it must be a good recipe. So, again, we'll see you out on the water. Join us anytime for dinner.
That's what I'm waiting for.
That's a big one, too.
Triple Steve. We missed him.
This is a nice one here, too. Oh.
Oh, hook 3, landed 1.
Yeah. He came up and missed it. That's awesome.
Better than that.
Folded all the way up, swiped at it, I dropped it back down, and he just friggin' took it. That's a garlic
Beautiful
plus.
fish. Jeez, look at that thing.
Yeah, I put the garlic on
That's
that
a
thing.
hog.
I can smell that garlic actually.
Yeah. We minced that right there in Salem. I've been fishing the same setup for about 10 minutes, not getting anything. All I did was put a little bit of the garlic plus super gel. Not on the lead head, or they'll bite that. I just put it right on the tail, just a little bit. I tell you what, I dropped it down, I was hit instantly. That's one of the biggest fish I've caught so far today. So I just loaded this up with the garlic super gel, dropped it down. It wasn't 30 seconds, and the thing just swallowed it. So obviously made a big change in my performance, and another big pig here. Yeah. That's a Garlic Plus Super Gel right there, baby. Okay, so we're using an 8-foot limeglass rod, and these are heavies. And the reason why we're going to heavier, when you go to set the hook, it'll help bury the fish's mouths are really hard, so that'll help bury that hook in. If it's a lighter tipped rod, you'll get a lot of bites, but you won't get a lot of hookups. So for the rockfish, you can use the heavy duty rods, but this is a lot more fun. Just puts a lot more action to it, but you really got to put it to them. Just put your thumb on your spool when you feel that bite and give them a good slam. A lot more fun to reel them in that way.
We can do better than that. So this is what we've been throwing back all day. This size here, we can get them almost twice this size. These ones go back.
Those anywhere else are prize
Yeah,
fish.
it's still a nice fish.
But here in Seward, man, those are little. You go to Canada or somewhere else, southeast Alaska, and those are prize fish, man.
Strike Zone Charters, located in Winchester Bay, Oregon, at the top of B-Dock, 465 Beach Boulevard in Salmon Harbor. We offer salmon fishing, deep sea fishing, halibut, and sturgeon. Also bay and ocean crabbing. So for a fun and excitement-filled day, call Scott or Casey Howard at Strike Zone Charters, 541-361-0194, and book your trip now. If you would like to experience an action-packed Alaska adventure out of Seward, book Captain Randy Wells of Fish Seward, Alaska for an adventure not soon forgotten. Visit him online at fishsewardalaska.com or give him a call, 907-947-3349. And be sure to call Alaska Shuttle Service for all your transportation needs during your visit. For more info, go to alaskashuttleservice.com or give Jen a call at 907-947-3349. Hey folks, when you're getting ready for your season, don't forget to swing in here to your local Buy Mart. Our friends here at Buy Mart have been busy. They've swapped out a bunch of products. They got a bunch of new products in. New line of Shasta tackle stuff, sling blades, wiggle hoochies, all that stuff for you trout and kokanee fishermen. They got some new beads, some new spinners, some new terminal tackle. A lot of new products to check out. As well as they still have the full line of Brad stuff, the ProCure bait scents, all that stuff you see us use on the Lunker Junkies Fishing Show to get us into more and bigger fish. They also have a new line of Cascade Outdoors. It's Buy Mart's own brand that's specially designed with the rugged Northwest in mind. So 5-6 pound sleeping bags, a little heavier duty stuff, a little warmer. Sleeping bags, tents, chairs, tables, all built a little more rugged for the Northwest. And all at the same low prices you've come to expect from Buy Mart. So be sure to swing in and check that out. Don't forget, every Lunker Junkies adventure starts right here at Buy Mart. Let's catch back up with our buddies Randy Wells and Steve Lynch of ProCure out of Seward, Alaska, doing some rock fishing.
It's extremely important to make sure you're timing your fishing trip on the ocean for rockfish or lingcod around the tide. You want to be as close to slack tide as you can get. Very little movement. That way you can sit right on top of the rock pile. And as you can see here, I've got my cursor where we've been hitting all these fish. And as you can see right here, here's all the fish. We're at about 85 to 86 feet, and then there's a big drop off over here. It drops off to about 170 feet. I've got hardly any current at all, moving at about a half a knot right now. And so that's the maximum amount of speed that you want. That way you can keep really working those fish. So again, time your fishing trip with the tide. Make sure that you're gonna be fishing as close to slack tide as possible. It's extremely important to have a good mark. As you can tell by looking at my chart plotter here, all those numbers are individual pinnacles. I've been fishing this spot for years. Sometimes I'll pull up and they'll be there, sometimes they won't be. And what I've discovered is that there's more pinnacles down there than what the chart shows. So when you're fishing a rock spot for a long period of time, be sure to mark all the pinnacles that you see, so that when you pull up on the spot for the first time that day, you can make some circles around the pinnacle and find exactly where that ball of fish is at. We've just restarted and we're resetting right now, and as you can see on the right side of the chart plotter, we're coming up on a pinnacle, and you can see where fish are sitting and kegged up pretty thick.
We fishing?
Yeah, let them fly.
We're here right outside Resurrection Bay. We see a pot of whales. You know, there's a ton of sea life out here, lots of fish jumping, so the scenery is just second to none. So if you got a half a day, I recommend you come out here and try it. So fishing for rockfish or all your species of bottom fish, the technique are pretty much the same. I mean, you may need to step up on your lead head size, but with our currents and everything we had today, this is a perfect size. But whether you're fishing Oregon or Washington coast or California, it's pretty much all the same. So all we were doing on our soft plastics is just putting a little bit of the Procure gel, and I put it on the soft plastic, not the jig head, because if I were to put it up here, the fish are going to bite here and you won't hook up with them. So all I do is I put it on, and with the top of the lid, just a light smearing. And this will last you 20-25 minutes. You know, you can put it on both sides, but a little bit goes a long ways. So today we're using all the super gels, and this is what you want to use on anything artificial. So whether you use it on a lure, soft plastics, you want to be using the gel. Now, if we were trolling herring, you'd want to be using the oils, because the oils you can inject or marinate into the bait, so it'll slowly leach out. But if you were to put the oil on the soft plastic, within 2 minutes it would be gone. So today, like I said, it was all gel. And this stuff will last anywhere from 25 to 40 minutes, depending on your water temperature and how fast you're trolling.
Hey guys, as you know, we had a great day out there today, and one of the most popular demos that I've been getting a lot of emails about is the filleting demo that I've done on the Chetco for filleting steelhead. And so what I'm going to do here real fast is move the camera over and show you about filleting some rockfish. Some important things to keep in mind is they've got some really sharp quills across their back. I've been to the hospital twice from the rockfish infection. If you do get stuck with a rockfish, Steve Lynch from Procure gave me a good tip. Use the eyeball and pop it with a hook right away. Do it within the first 5 minutes and pour it wherever you got stuck with that rockfish, and that'll really help you. And those of you that have caught rockfish, whether Alaska, Oregon, Washington, California, if you've been stuck with them, you know it aches and it hurts. And so try that technique out. Or I highly recommend wearing some thick rubber gloves while you're handling them on the boat, especially while you're fishing them. The fillet gloves are nice, but the problem is the quill can actually get right through there. So get some thick rubber gloves for filleting your fish there. And I appreciate you watching the show. Let's check out how I fillet some rockfish. All right, guys, as promised, the little rockfish fillet demo. As I'd said earlier, these rockfish, especially the bigger they get, they've got these sharp quills across their back that stick out. Man, this can go through a rubber boot, a rubber glove. If you start getting into these bigger fish, and I promise you, whatever you're wearing, they can get through it. So I wear these really thick Atlas vinyl gloves. I believe they're for like some type of oil construction, but something like that. So you want to make sure you have a sharp knife, kind of a shorter blade, just enough to get through the fillet there. And don't use your favorite salmon fillet knife or your halibut fillet knife, because of the scales that are on these fish are so big, they will dull your knife quick, and you'll never get another good edge on it unless you're a much better knife sharpener than I am. So I highly recommend having a knife just for rockfish. So real similar to how I fillet a salmon or a steelhead or any other fish similar to that. they've got a spine that runs down them. One thing the rockfish have is they've got a big belly right here that's absolutely worthless, and there's a lot of pin bones in there. So and they've got a real strong head. So what I like to do is I like to start with my knife right here at the top of the head, and I'm sticking it in, and I can actually feel the backbone of the fish. Push, push, push. I get down here by the last fin here, and I can stick my knife all the way through, rub it down, and you can see I've got it really close. I'm gonna bring it back on that fillet. I'm still running my knife along that bone. Come up here like so. Basically what I'm doing is I'm outlining that rib cage. And now I'm gonna take my knife and I'm gonna run it right up under here, running it along that belly, like so. Cut it down, just like that. When I'm freezing my rockfish, I like to keep the skin on there because it's such a delicate meat, it's gonna freeze a whole lot better. If you process it like so, it's that much more protection. Again, remember, especially with saltwater fish, don't rinse the fish off before you process it. Just paper towel it down, get some of the blood and scales off like so, and then freeze it. That's gonna prevent any moisture getting into your meat. It's gonna give you a better freeze. That fish is gonna taste a whole lot better when you thaw it out. Then when you thaw it out and you get ready to cook it, that's when you wanna rinse it off. Oh man, we had a great day today. Like we said earlier, it was a nice half-day trip. We got our 20 huge rockfish. Steve, what'd you think?
It's perfect. About a 30-minute boat ride out. Took us about 25 minutes to catch all the fish. Another 30 minutes back in.
We saw some orcas, some humpbacks that I couldn't get on camera.
Seward's a great place to come visit. It's a cross between Homer and Anchorage. I mean, you can be here in just a couple of hours. It's a beautiful drive up. And as always, we've always caught our limits of fish. So if you're around Anchorage or Homer, take your time and come on into Seward and check it out.
All right, guys, thanks very much. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see you next week. And as always, every Lunker Junkie episode begins with Buy Mart.
Lunker Junkies is brought to you by Mart, your one stop for the best deals around on top quality gear. Procure Bait Sense, ruthlessly effective. If you want your rod bent, you gotta apply the scent. Shasta Tackle, inventor of the sling blade, luring you to the best of fishing. Reel Tech, don't throw those broken reels aside, send them to the Reel Tech. And Brad's Killer Fishing Gear, so enticing, fish cannot resist them.
Born to be fishermen, we were born to be fishermen, so come along with me on Lunker Junkie.